Hello and welcome to the AI Advantage Small Business Owner Success with Jim and George, the show where we break down big ideas for small business success. I'm Jim Lawrence and I'm joined by my co-host George Yang, and we are on a mission to help small business owners just like you make the most of AI. In every episode, we're going to break down the latest tools, latest tips, and real life stories so you can find simple, practical ways to boost your business and stay ahead of the curve. Now, we're here to make AI less intimidating and a lot more useful for your everyday success. Now, you might think AI is just for the tech giants or it's out of reach for smaller companies, but that's not the truth. In fact, a recent survey found that over 60% of small businesses in North America are already using some form of AI, and that number is only growing in 2025 rapidly. So, why does AI matter for your business? Whether you're looking to save time, boost your sales, or simply stay competitive, AI has something to offer. Now, let's break it all down together. First, George, I want to talk about AI. What is AI?
Well, I think everybody's first, experience with AI is that ChatGPT moment a couple years ago, right? When that thing got launched, I remember I was in my mother-in-law's house. I saw this thing. I downloaded the app and I typed, like, it blew my mind. I put in, like, write me a haiku about hot dogs, and then it did that like this. And then I said, translate this into Polish. And it did it like that. It was one of those moments that I knew the world would never be the same after that.
And-
Although that's like AI has been actually with us for quite a long time.
yeah.
It's just, people used it, people know it as automation. They think of it if you ever use Grammarly where it corrected your spelling mistakes and things like that. Those are all version of AI, but today it's just a trendy word now where AI is people equate that with ChatGPT, but it's bigger than that. And it
Absolutely.
has a longer history than
And I see people because, in the beginning when especially ChatGPT first came out, which was the major blow up that shook up the industry, people were saying, oh, I don't have the time to do this, or I can't find the resources to do that. And myself and other people would say, well, why don't you just use ChatGPT? And they're like, oh yeah, I keep forgetting about that. But that has certainly started picking up pace a lot in 2025, where people are instantly thinking about it now. It's not even they don't need to be reminded of it. They're turning to AI.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people equate these ChatGPT with a previous technology like the internet, or another thing we tell people is schools are saying, oh, should we use ChatGPT and allow kids to use it, right? But it was the same thing as back then we had calculators, like when calculators came out. Did you still want the kids to write out the equation and, proof their writing? Like, all those things. We just got to move along with the tech that's available and live in that world. It's not, you can't stay and be stuck on your mindset where you came from. You got to kind of change your mindset and think about where we're going to be and anticipate that.
Absolutely. And I mean, you know what they say, common myths out there are that AI will replace human jobs. And I mean, I think I remember some older generations mentioning to me that they said the same thing when the ATMs were being introduced. The bank employees are going to lose their jobs. And I mean, I certainly, the one time a year I might have to go into a bank, I know there's a lineup in there. So over 40 years of the ATM being introduced to us as consumers, the banks and the branches are still alive and kicking. So they're not always replacing jobs, but I think we have to learn to adapt a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you are a retailer today, right? And you don't have an online presence. Like, how successfully do you think your business is going to be today, right? So that's the, .com revolution, and now we're in the AI. And at the end of the day, right now, I mean, as far as we can tell right now, AI is not out there, is not capable to replace entire human jobs, right? I attended a couple conferences, and overall theme from there is, that's number one. That's people's number one concern, right? Is my job going? Am I going to lose my job to AI, right? And like, uh, but overall consensus is AI is not going to replace you and your job, but somebody who can leverage AI will replace you So you gotta people today, whether you're employees, employers, or small business owners, you have to kind of upskill, AI knowledge quotient and get to a level where you're comfortable leveraging it for your business.
Now's the time to pivot for all you small business owners out there. Start adapting to AI. We learned that, pivoting was essential to maintain our small businesses during COVID. We had to learn and figure out new ways of doing things, how to reach the public, and AI is that tool that's going to help you as well. Now, George, some people also think, and I get this, I can understand where they're coming from, that artificial intelligence is irrelevant to their industry. What do you have to say about that?
Well, I mean, okay, it may impact people differently, depends on the industry, right? But there are literally, if we're talking to the small business segment, small to even medium-sized business, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of AI tool that you can use today. Everything from marketing, coding, finance, human resources, and everything in between. So I don't, I currently can imagine a industry unless you are someone who need to do things hands-on. Let's say robotic is not there yet to replace plumbers. Like you're not gonna have a robot coming into your house and fix your leaky faucet anytime soon. But other than that, if it's a knowledge-based industry, if it's just education, if it's finance, even medical, right? Like we've seen doctor perform surgeries using robot hands for a while now. But I have friends who's radiologists or pathologists, and they worry about their jobs because they spend most of the time in an office looking at like medical scans. Right? Like they are there to determine whether this then is tumorous or I don't know, cancerous or whatever, right?
Right.
And you can use a lot of experience and knowledge to do that job, but an AI on these repetitive, task, that takes interpretation, but they can store every single slide for the last, 50 years into their brain. So for them to come out with their prognosis or diagnosis is a lot more accurate actually in human. There was actually a medical study done in Korea. I remember reading up on this, and they tested two groups, right? One group was, I think, pathologists looking at the slides, and other one they use a AI enhanced tool to help the pathologist, and the AI enhanced group was much more accurate in their output. So
Interesting. Wow.
yeah, that's already being put in. Then if you think about, that sort of life and death, that sort of important decision, and not just, whether you can rewrite my email to a coworker, there's a lot more application than just what we see with ChatGPT in terms of AI, right?
Right on. And I mean, just even my general practitioner, my family doctor, they're using AI in the office just to take notes and have the notes accurate during our meetings. So it's being used at all levels in the medical field, right from the basics as well. Now, for those of you listening, George just mentioned that there's thousands of artificial intelligence tools, but to narrow it down, George is just going to rhyme off the top 100. Go ahead, George. Just joking around. Now, George, you made me think about the plumber for a moment there because the plumber, we're not going to have artificial intelligence yet fixing our pipes, although I can't wait to see that to happen. That'll be something. But in terms of the benefits of artificial intelligence for small businesses, what can AI actually do for business? And I'm keeping that plumber in mind here because although he's not going to be using it under the sink, the plumber can certainly use it in some different applications.
Oh yeah, like, right now, based on, AI technology, one of the scary things about AI technology and probably the most exciting thing is how fast it grows, right?
Yeah.
Like if you think back to ChatGPT moment in 2022, what it is today, how in a short, 2.5, less than 3 years, like how fast the technology has matured and has gone into almost every segment of consumer life, you got AI built into every iPhone now, right? And it's just on your phone. It doesn't even need internet to do that, to
Yeah.
access the AI. Like the penetration of the technology to our everyday life is so significant. So if you think about the small business, a lot of things that they do very well, what the AI can do is, handle repetitive tasks. right? A lot of things, if you're answering customer queries, if they're calling you and saying, how much is this? When did you open? And do you have this in stock? And any of those queries, AI handle those things very beautifully, right? Like, and that really helps you enhance your customer experience with people that you serve. And most of the time, people can't stay awake 24/7, right? But your robot can, your chatbot can. So if someone needs to know the price of your product 3 a.m. in the morning, they can get their answer like that. And they're not waiting to call you tomorrow at whenever you open and queue up at the line and ask you those questions, right? So you're giving people access to data that just in a quicker and faster manner.
We
And
we're
also,
we're
yeah, go on.
demand we're demanding consumers, like we get access to information instantly and we want answers instantly now. So when you're able to apply this to your customer base, your potential customers, you're delivering a great service to them. You're giving them the information they need and you're coming across as a reliable source that you're able to do that. Even though you're doing it with artificial intelligence, you're giving the user on the other end what they want. And this really helps your business grow as well.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like if you are I mean, this in your personal experience, right? Like if you wanted to buy something and you call and it's not, you're not dealing with a CRA that you have to deal with them and you have to wait on the line and you have to talk to them. There's no choice, right? If you're
Just for our listeners, the CRA is the Canadian version of the IRS. But yeah, go ahead there, George.
Right. If you are out there to purchase a product, maybe let's say you keep using a plumber, right? If you're using a plumber example, if I call a plumber and they don't pick up, I just call the next guy, right? Like
Yeah,
that's just how business is done. Like you're not gonna wait until tomorrow to call. So,
the water's shooting out of the side of the sink. I need
right.
somebody now.
Exactly. So that's kind of where your customer service, like chatbot or agent, can come in and help make sure those customer queries are answered and you get those leads as they come in. In those moments, those are called, what did Google call them? They call them like those micro moments where you need to deliver the information they need in that moment. Because if they miss that moment's gone and they're moving on to a next spot. So as small business owners, you have to capture them when the intention to purchase is at the highest.
I love it. I love it. So just to run down that again for our listeners, AI on a small business, even if you don't think it applies to your industry, think about this. Think about the time savings and the automation. AI can handle those repetitive tasks like scheduling, data entry, customer inquiries, and this all frees up your time for your more important work that you know that you need to do. It also enhances the customer experience. Imagine having a chatbot that answers those questions 24 hours a day, or some software that recognizes and recommends the products that your customers are needing based on their preferences. It also allows you to make better decision making. So, the analytics that come along with artificial intelligence can help you to spot trends, they understand your customers better, and it makes your business smarter and makes your decision making a lot more easier. The cost savings and the efficiency are already baked into this. By automating that routine work, AI helps cut the costs and it reduces those errors, making your operations leaner and more efficient. And it isn't about replacing people, it's about helping you and your team do more with less. So, the biggest thing you can do today to get the most out of AI, George, what is it?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of tools and functionalities and things there is, but if we boil it down to the most basic function of AI right now, like it's your experience with ChatGPT, right? Like everybody probably experienced it. You put in a prompt and it give you the answer, right? But what most people don't know is there is a way to do it. So imagine, the AI it has basically all human knowledge stored within, right? But getting it out of it, getting the right information from the right context in the right format to make it more meaningful for you. It takes a specific method, and that's what I'm gonna share with you right now. So um what I sharing is
Everybody get your pens and papers out. The old style,
yeah.
old school methods.
So this is the you know how I would do a perfect prompt, right? So imagine you need to imagine the AI you're talking to is someone who has a knowledge but doesn't know anything about you, right? I mean, there are ways for you to build it customized to you, but that's not being covered right now. Let's say you're just going to a brand new chat chat window. The AI need to know who are you, what do you want to talk about, and the context. Very important is the context of your conversation, right? Let's say I ask, for a question, like, where can I buy, bats? How do they know? Are you buying the animal, the bat, or are you talking about baseball bat or any other type of bat, right? Like you need to give them a context. It's like, oh,
ChatGPT's probably like, who's the user on the other end here? Is it Batman or what?
yeah, like so if you look at this example, right, you start with the persona. So you can build personas. So a lot of times, like let's say I'm a small business owner who has a nail salon in the greater Toronto area, Okay, now ChatGPT understand that's your background and it's going to start focusing its rest of response based off that persona, right? Okay, great. And now you talked about, then you have to give it a task. You're like, what do you want it to do? Okay, write me a message, write me an email, write me a marketing message, write me a social media post. What do you want it to do? And who are you gonna use it for? Write me a social media message to share on my LinkedIn to tell people about blah 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 to convey a certain message. So all these things needs to be fed into the system. So the more context you put, the more the more specific the answer that the AI system can provide back to you. And if you do that, the more relevant the answer will be and the more helpful there will be. Because if you do not provide this, I think a lot of people have done this in the past and they said AI sucks because you haven't put in what you want out of it. It can't just guess, right?
You have to be clear, and if you get the wrong answer, you can prompt it again to kind of get it. But you should be trying. You'll get better as the more you use it. Once you realize that you're getting not the answer, the responses that you want, you'll know how to tweak it and how to be a better communicator, which is interesting because a lot of people think AI is going to make us dumber, but in some respects, it could be making us a little bit smarter sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like what I found actually was before I was also prompting it, just write me an email for this or do this. And, the response is usually generic and you can kind of tell it's written by AI, right? Like,
Yes.
then it's not great. But if you follow the perfect prompt script, it will take you longer to type it out. But what it actually does is it make you think through what you try to communicate. You are
Gotcha.
actually have to put in some brain because like brain power because like what we said earlier is AI is not going to replace you because it doesn't know what you want to do, but someone who knows how to do the proper prompting is able to get the most value out of the AI system, but it also help themselves to better sort about what they want to talk about, right? Clarify
This
the
is
idea.
just like life, people. The more you put in, the more you get out.
Right. And then when it comes out, I've tried this many times, and you can tell it to speak to you on a specific tone, right? Is this a business communication? Is this about your client? What's your brand voice? Is your brand voice a little bit more humorous? Is it more serious? Like imagine a comic store newsletter versus a funeral home, like you don't want the same output for the same tone writing the email. You got to give it more context. So I promise you, if you do this, if you practice this and you keep, refining and giving more context, the result that it will give you will be much better than if you did.
So you got this perfect pitch prompt right here on the screen here, George. Did you want to go through that?
Yeah, I mean, this is fairly, like is so you're in so first you said you're an individual who adopted a healthier style over the last past years. Okay, now the AI knows, okay, you're health conscious, right? You are looking to improve your physical health. You want to result in better physical and mental well-being. Okay, so now it's both physical and mental wellness. Okay, now it's like, okay, I understand. A few friends have asked you advice to start their own journey. Okay, now you know your target audience is your friends, the friends who's asking you for advice. Now you tell the AI to, now I need to write a message to share in the group chat with interested friends. So like I'm not gonna go through the next part, but you can see how much more information, if you do it this way, it gives the AI. And because you have done that, how much better the result will actually be. The next time I will actually probably do a live example and show you the actual difference.
Awesome. Awesome. So there you have it. That is the 101 of AI, how to create your perfect prompt. Let it know that you can tweak it, you can use it to your benefits. It might not be the best results when you first use it, but the more you learn to use it properly and give it the input that it needs, the output is going to soothe you and make your business a success. Is there anything you wanted to finish off with there, George?
Yeah, I think, if anybody who's, other, if they're like an AI scientist, if anybody who tell you they are an expert or, who have been doing this for 10 years, that's probably not possible because most people actually, especially in the business field, small business field, who got involved with AI only in the last 2 years. Everybody's on the same journey. Everybody's learning together. So, the purpose of this podcast is to share what we learn along the way, but we're always happy to get your feedback and see what have you been your journey along the way, what have you run into, because the chances are the difficulty you have had along the way are the same everybody else had. Because this is a very new technology. We have to admit that, and we are passionate people who love the new tech and love AI, but there's always room to learn more with our community.
Amazing. Well, that is a wrap for today's episode. Now, I just want to make sure you get today's key takeaways. Artificial intelligence is more accessible and affordable than ever for your small businesses. You can start small, focus on your needs, and you don't need to be afraid to experiment. Try new things out. Watch more of our episodes because we're probably going to be talking about them. And the future is bright for businesses that are willing to embrace this new technology. I want to thank you so much for listening in, tuning in. Do not forget to subscribe. Please leave a review. Tell us what you want to hear and connect with us on our social media platforms. Until next time, keep innovating and growing your business. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.